All right, y'all. Whoa. Hello and welcome to your ACT calculator trick video. I feel like it's been a while since I've made one of these, so welcome back. Great to have you. The first trick we're going to look at today is using your answer choices to help you. We're going to do this problem together first, this one together, and then you'll do the 3 practice problems. So this one says, what value of A will make the equation here true? Okay, if you're looking for something true or find the solution or what is the value of X, here we can plug in answer choices. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Everywhere that I see A in this equation, I am going to try my answer choice one at a time. So the first one I'm going to try is negative 19, and I'm going to plug it in for both values of A. So I'm going to do that on my calculator here. You should be able to see. So I'm going to start with my division sign for plus parentheses negative 19, 9 plus parentheses negative 19. Is equal to 3 over 2. Okay, so I ended up with this is 3 over 2 is equal to 2 over 3. I'll write that down. 3 over 2 is equal to 2 over 3. Is that a true statement? No, so my answer cannot be 19. Okay, what you can do from there, if you don't want to have to retype this in every single time, you can highlight this. So scroll up to highlight, then press Enter, and it'll copy the problem for you. So then you can just delete the 19, the negative 19, and replace it with 3. Delete the negative 19, replace it with 3. That gave me 7 over 12, so that's not my answer choice. Again, highlight, replace the 3 with 5, replace the 3 with 5, press Enter, 9 over 14, still not going to work. Scroll up, delete the 5, replace it with 6, replace it with 6, press Enter. That gave me 2 over 3. 2 over 3 is equal to 2 over 3, the other side of this equation. That is a true statement, so my answer choice is 6. Okay, so that is when you are given answer choices that you can immediately plug into your equation. Use your calculator to help you there. Now let's look at one that's very similar. We just have to do a little extra solving first. This says, given that 2x plus 1 equals 5, what is the value of x plus 3 to the third? Okay, well here I need to know the value of x first. So here I have to first find the value, then plug in the value. Okay, that's the tricky step on this one. I don't know the value of x, so I can't plug anything in here first. To find the value of x, I can solve this equation here. So I'm going to do that down here. 2x plus 1 is equal to 5. Minus 1 on each side. That gives me 2x is equal to 4. Divide by 2 on both sides. X is equal to 2. Sorry, running out of room there. Remember, whenever we're solving, we use our SADMAP. Addition and subtraction first, then division and multiplication. Okay, so I have x is equal to 2. If I know that x is equal to 2, that is what I plug into my equation here. Okay, so I'm going to replace that x with 2. What is that? Plus 3. Plus 3. To the power of is this little caret button here. So to the power of 3. That gives me 125. So my answer choice is H. Okay, from here, pause and practice. So pause and practice these 3 problems. When you are done, you can move on to trick number 2. Okay? Trick number 2 is convert answer and answer choices into decimals to match. Okay? So for example here, it says, which of the following is a simplified form of this expression? Well, this doesn't have any variables in it, So I can plug this directly into my calculator, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to zoom out so you can see the whole calculator. No point in zooming in the first place. To get my square root sign, press Control and then the squared button. That'll give you your square root sign. Okay, that's going to give me 20 minus square root of 45. I press enter and I get a decimal here. So I get that this is equal to negative 2.23607. This is my answer. Okay, well right now that doesn't look like any of my answer choices. Okay, that doesn't look like any of my answer choices. However, I can convert my answers to look like this and match them up. Okay, well I immediately know it's not going to be negative 5 or positive 5 because those already don't match. Okay, I'll just start from the bottom and work my way up. Okay, negative 65 square root of 65 gives me 8.06226. That does not match what my current answer is, so I know that's not my answer choice. 5 square root 5 is 11.1803. Well, that doesn't match my answer choice either. So this should be my answer choice, negative square root of 5. And I get that that equals negative 2.23607. Those match. My answer matches my answer choice. So I know my answer is A. Okay? So if your first answer does not immediately match your answer choices, that's okay. Make sure that you convert them to decimals. Okay? One quick note here. If you are converting fractions to decimals, so say I had 1 divided by 4. If I put a decimal point in the denominator, it will convert it to a fraction for me. So I do control division sign, 1 over 4. If I put a decimal point, so the little period button, in the denominator of the fraction, in the denominator of the fraction, and press enter, it will convert it to a decimal for me. 0.4 equals 0.25. You just have to put a decimal point in the denominator. Oh no, lights turned off. Sorry. I'm at school by myself and sometimes lights turn off. Denominator. Okay, so put a decimal point in the denominator if you want to convert a fraction to a decimal. All right, you are going to pause and practice on these 3 problems. When you are finished pausing and practicing on these 3 problems, you are going to flip over and go to your next calculator trick. Okay? The next calculator trick is make up values for variables to find equivalent statements. Okay, so if I'm looking at this problem and I say, I do not remember how to solve this, which of the following expressions is equivalent, that's my keyword there, to this? Well, I've got x's in these. I can make x whatever value I want as long as I am consistent with it. So, except for never use 0, 1, or 2. These numbers have some interesting properties, so they can end up getting you the wrong answer. So never use 0, 1, or 2. I always use 3. So I'm going to say here that I'm going to make x equal to 3. So I'm going to use that to find my answer first. So I'm going to plug in wherever I have an x, I'm going to plug in 3. Let's zoom out a little here. Okay, so 3 times 3 plus 6, parentheses 2 times 3, minus 1. Okay, I'm going to type it in exactly as I see it here. Press enter, and I got 75. Okay, so my answer is 75. I'm trying to get these answer choices to match 75. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Everywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in a 3. So this would become 15 times 3 minus 6. So 15 times 3 minus 6, that gives me 39. That 39 does not match my answer, so that cannot be my answer. 15 times 3 minus 1 is the next one. That gives me 30. So that equals 30. That does not match my answer. 6 times 3 squared minus 6 gives me 48. So that's not my answer. 6 times 3 squared plus 9 times 3 minus 6. That gives me 75. So that equals 75. So that 75 matches what I found should be my answer. So my correct answer here is D. Okay? One other thing on these, if you have two different variables, you need two different values. Okay, so for example, if I had something like 4xy squared, I could say x is 3 and y is 4, but don't give them the same value. Make sure the x variable has one value, the y variable has a different value. Okay, from here you are going to pause and practice on these 3 questions at the bottom, and then we've got one more calculator trick. So our very last calculator trick is to make up values to take abstract statements to concrete ones. Forgot to finish that sentence. Okay, so this is very similar to the create a value for a variable. It just takes a little more logic. So on this one, it says let A represent any positive integer. Which of the following is not larger than 1 over A squared? Okay, well here, I don't work well with just letters. I need to create values so that I can compare. So A has to represent any positive integer. So positive and integer means whole number. Okay, so any positive whole number. I'm going to say here A is equal to 3. Just going to use that example again. So A is equal to 3. Okay, I'm going to plug in A for my statement here. I've got 1 over 3 squared. When I plug that into my calculator, parentheses, there it is. 1 over 3, oops, sorry, y'all can't really see that, squared. Okay, I got 1 over 9. Okay, so that's 1 over 9, and then I'm going to convert that into a decimal too. Remember, you can scroll up, press enter, and it'll copy what you've just done, and to convert it to a decimal, put a decimal point in the denominator. So that's 0.1111. So I'm looking for which is not larger than 0.111. So again, every time I see A, I'm going to plug in 3. So this would just equal 3. 3 is larger than 0.111, so that can't be my answer. 3, oh, y'all can't see the calculator over there. 3 squared is 9. 9 is larger than 0.111, so that can't be my answer. This is 1 over A, so 1 over 3 gives me 1 over 3. Let's convert that to a decimal just so we can compare. 0.333 is larger. Okay, 0.333 is larger than 0.111, so it can't be this one. D, 2 divided by 3 squared gives me 4 over 9. Again, make it a decimal just to compare. That's 0.444. That is larger than 0.1, so this should be my answer, but I'll just prove it to you. 1, oh, forgot parentheses, 1 over 2 times 3 squared, 1 over 36, let's convert that to a decimal, is 0.027. That is smaller than 0.111. So not larger essentially just means smaller. Okay, So again here, the only difference is I had to make sure it was a positive integer. I couldn't choose any number here. I had to choose a positive whole number. So just make sure that when you're using these abstract statements, the number that you chooses fits the parameters or guidelines of the question. Okay, and then very last things I want us to look at are some calculator buttons to know. Oh, you're supposed to pause and practice. Make sure you've done those practice problems before you get to calculator buttons to know. The first one is absolute value. Whenever you see these two vertical bars, the absolute value bars are, if you look on the right-hand side of your calculator at this little button here, it's kind of hard to see. Maybe if you turn the light on. Does that help at all? Probably not. Okay, it's this little button here right under the delete sign. If you press this button, if my calculator will wake up, you press this button and scroll to the middle, the farthest left on the middle, you'll see the absolute value bars. Press enter and then type in your equation exactly as you see it, or your expression, -8 plus 9. That gives me -5, so my answer here is B. Okay, that's just a reminder that your absolute value bars are on the right-hand side here. When you press this menu, it's this button in the middle. Okay, pause and practice on these three here. Last calculator skill is solving systems. If you're ever given a system of equations with two different equations and it says solution or solve, you can use your calculator to solve these as well. You have to rewrite these in terms of x and y. So 6x plus 3y equals 12. And then -2x plus y equals -8. Notice that I made both the b's into y's, both the a's into x's. Okay? Your calculator just doesn't recognize a and b as variables, so make sure you've rewritten them as x and y. Okay? To solve this, if you go to calculate, let's see if I can make this a little brighter. Does that make it easier to see? Okay, go to calculate, go to menu, so menu, scroll to where it says algebra, and then click the second one, solve systems of linear equations. Okay, here type in your number of equations. We have 2, and the variables we're using are x and y. So press enter, and it'll pop up this little box here. Type in the two equations exactly as you see them. Type in the two equations exactly as you see them. So 6x plus 3y equals 12, so include your equal signs. -2x plus y equals -8, okay, and press enter. So it's written my answer as 3, -2. That is my x and y value. So my first value of 3, x is equal to 3, y is equal to -2. It's asking for the value of b. We replace b with y, so it's asking for our y value. So our answer here is -2. So it's really important that you keep your variables straight on these because it can get a little confusing. Okay, pause and practice the solve systems on these three problems here. Then you'll flip to the back. On the back, you've got this, whoa, zoom in the wrong way. On the back, you've got this formulas to know section. Make sure that you are using your formula sheet, which I am going to grab right now. Okay, these are some questions that have formulas that you have to memorize. Use your formula sheet to help you answer those. I crossed these off because these are ones that, 1, don't really show up on the ACT, and 2, are some trig stuff that we haven't gotten to yet. So these, if you do see any of these, it'll be in questions like 55 and above. Okay, that is it. Work on your formulas to know section. I am done talking. That's all I got. Like and subscribe as per always.